Dumela. I've been thinking, Gere, I want to hear what are your thoughts. Katabaya, hore there are actually women who want hore bahudi say their family lineage. And I've seen in our society, in most cases, people think hore it's only men that have that mentality. It has never made sense to me. And I think with that, it also made me realize, Rona, we go with what society says, this is how we should be and this is how it's supposed to be, rather than dealing with the reality of maybe certain patterns. Wabo. I remember growing up as a child, I would always have this thing, I don't want to get married. Ke hopela Lesotho when one of my uncles said, Jo, so hodile, le se kgale tla be re memwa lenyalong la hao, sorry. Ke na batlo nyalwa nna. And then, they just laughed it off, thinking, okay, she's just a child. Ha tsebe ntho a buang ka yona. Fine. And out of all the memories, especially when it comes to marriage, that's the one elongre. Haitlowe kelelong honna. And I was very young. Nikisobe lemme by then. Meaning I was not yet a mother. Not nikisenamme. And then I ended up just okay. But still, I guess I understand this thing, get married, this is fun, I don't know. There was just something inside my soul that just didn't understand, where does that come from? Like, it doesn't make sense. Why of which, if this was a conversation that I'm supposed to have, let's say with my partner or a male figure, Moto would take it as if I'm saying I want to take their role in my life, in my life, of which that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, now I grew up with this thing that I want Lena familia ka elohola, but by then I referenced Tabaya Lenyalo because I was younger. Make you so understand the challenges Tsabo Pelo. But as I grew up, this feeling didn't move, especially in terms of getting married, getting engaged all these times, and me always having to return, okay, but just breaking up all these engagements. I think when it happens, if there's anyone who has ever experienced this, they can relate. When it happens, it's like you're thinking, wow, so I'm actually worthy of someone seeing me as their wives. And because it's such a surprise, you agree to the proposal until a week, 2 weeks later, you're like, I don't want this, And when it happens again, it's the same thing again, because in most cases, it happens randomly. And go back to you don't think, Lore, they would even maybe want to take it there, because Luana, your mind is not even there, because you're thinking we're just dating and we've never had the talks that you want to get married. And in most cases, men tend to think, every woman wants to get married. Trust me, even if, let's say, next year I've changed my mind, a year later I've changed my mind, 2 years later, I still don't know the type of dress I would want. I still don't know bridesmaid things. Where would I begin? Because I've never had that fairy tale in my head. So yet I am a very feminine woman. I love loving a man. I love taking care of a man. So many things. If you were to actually see me in action doing them, they would make you think, she's lying, because I don't know, people maybe just think when you have maybe you are incapable of just loving and taking care of someone or committing to someone. It's like already they've put you in a certain box just to just so that it makes sense to them. Wabo. So, hence as this feeling refused to go away. And I remember then thinking to myself, oh, okay, so my mom is the only child. I'm the only child. And my mom was married. Her late husband. And now I'm using my mom's maternal surname. They never changed my surname because she got married to my stepfather. And then I was thinking, okay, even with my first cousins, they're using a surname because their mother got married, who's my grandmother's little sister. And Elena, we won. My grandmother's sister. I hope you get that. So now I'm thinking, okay, I'm the only girl child that is left here who's still using this surname. So what would happen if now I get married? So meaning I'm the lifeline, my family. On my side, I'm not saying I'm the only Letwara that's left in the world. Please don't misinterpret that. I'm just talking go my family tree. I get it. As we know, we share surnames and whatnot. I'm just referring to my family tree. So now I'm looking at that. I'm thinking, okay, so if I get married and obviously munna then that's the end of my family tree, because my kids now are going to also be using, let's say, my husband's surname, because another thing that would not have made sense is for me to now use a certain surname, let's say Nkosi, and then manabaka basebedisa Letwara. Unlike me, we know even in the olden days whereby because my mom had me when she was 19 and got married to my stepdad when she was 21. So all I know is that I was 1 year old. So they've been together for a very long time. So meaning they were still young. Hence, my grandmother didn't see the need for me to go with them. And remember, I'm the only grandchild. So then they didn't have a child. Fine. But before I digress, now this is me thinking, okay, so if anything happens now, I'm like, no, I'm never going to get married. I just need to make more kids. Because I'm like, even if I can just have 2, at the most 3. But I have to make sure I have kids with people who do not see me as a wife or who do not want to get married. Now, I'm thinking all these plans, and I'm a woman. And I know I would rather have ngwana kids about nna bana ba ka ba tlo bitsa ka Letwara ba tswelise pele sefane sa heso. And then today, when I'm recording this, I don't know when you are going to listen to it, but now in real time, it's Thursday. So on Tuesday, I had a consultation. I get a So she called, and mind you, without me getting deeper into this, that was also her worry. So that's what prompted me to actually make this and share this with you. I'm actually not the only one who thinks like this, because I had never actually came across anyone who says, I'm worried about my family tree, my family line. And I had 2 kids. One passed on. In she had a child. The child passed on. Now I'm left with this one. And or whatever the case might be. I'm just worried. So many things are not okay in my life. And my son is worried about me. Again, I'm booking this consultation with you. But now I'm worried about him. He's the one who's stressing me. I want him to make babies. Like I said, I was like, okay, so I'm not actually the only one who thinks, like I do not care about any of those things. All I know that there have been men and they've been successful and they've made it, because I'm not just going to let my family felekanna because I want to push the narrative that has been imposed on me. Hore mosadi he tlamna bitse ka sefane or bana tlamle ba lo bitsa ka sefane sa bontate. No. If it's culture, let's say the Zulu culture, hore ngwana bitse ka sefane sa ntate wa hae, I avoid those tribes, or this is because remember my plan is to be strategic, because again I don't want to have a child longer in future dintho tseo di tlo mo hatella hore a se ke mohlomong a phomella, because we still have to respect tradition. So meaning I would have to choose maybe, let's say, a colored guy, maybe Mosotho or Motswana ke tsaba la ba ka ba etsetsa ngwana mosebetsi, but taba ya sefane ha se ntho e leng hore it's deep rooted into their culture, like the Zulus. It's there, and we can't even debate about it. I know about it, and I wouldn't force anyone hore a ska bitsa ka sefane sa ntate wa hae, because what happens when I'm not here? Ngwana batho o sala sokolo because now I wanted hore ke hodise sefane sa letshwara. So this has actually made me think a lot. Okay, there are actually people like me out there, and it doesn't make sense to babang, and people will always want to see it as you being masculine, you wanting to lead, you wanting to be the boss. And I've always also believed in polygamy, not polygamy, polyandry. I am from a polygamous family anyway, but in polyandry. But then I didn't even know the name. I'm like, if I were to do this, and it seemed childish at the time. I remember the first time I also saw a newspaper article years back. Okay, in some African country, this is actually happening. I was like, no, you're joking. So this thing actually does happen. So to show there are some of us who are embedded with these things, but as we try to fit in with the society and what they want us to act like. Okay, I don't want this. Oh, you wanting this makes you a bad woman. You wanting this, we are not all born the same. We do not all think alike, and yet we do not think we are in a competition with men, because everyone has their own role. Wabo. But when certain things, to a point along, you can't even explain yourself, but you just know they've been there. You've been thinking about them, and those are the things that make sense to you. But as when you have to discuss them with the man, it will be like, oh, so we're not about relationship, can't you not? That's not what you're saying. And as I'm recording this, today the judgment was given, Hore, when you get married, now my husband can use my surname. Honey, please, whenever you're going to be listening to this, you must know that this has been recorded Gadi 11th September 2025. So you must know, should it be, if God have still granted me the gift of life, should it be that I get married, know that my husband will be using my surname, and I am going hore ki hudise sefane sa Yesu ha se tlo fella ka nna. And my sons, because I do have 2 boys, will carry on the surname regardless of me being alive or not. So if you are one of those women that think like me, push my baby, push my darling. There's nothing wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Do what your soul wants. Do what you are meant to do. Maybe you are one of those people who have been chosen because there's no way my family tree is going to end. I refuse. That one will not happen. Especially as long as I'm still breathing. It will not. I don't know. My whole clan, my whole family will have to perish before I can let that happen. Death will only be the only thing that stops me. But other than that, it is going to happen. Anyway, thank you for listening. And that was my 5 cents. Next time, I'll go deeper into something else that I've been thinking about. along these lines. I'm just trying to avoid this taking longer. But thank you so much and have a lovely day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.